Welcome back, Space Cadets! Space Lab Recap. The first mission was Aquanaut. Did you like the Aquanaut experiment? Was your prediction right? The paper still dry. Why? As we've seen, air takes up space and can be found all around us, including inside the cup. You trap the air inside the cup by turning it upside down and lowering it into the water. Water couldn't rush up and fill the cup because something was taking up space inside. Air. This air bubble acts as a barrier between the water and the paper, keeping it dry. Did you know? Did you know that astronauts frequently train underwater to become accustomed to the feeling of weightlessness in space? You've got a mission today. Space Lab Mission 2. Past the planet, layers of the atmosphere. Like a thick layered cake, our atmosphere has many different layers. Each layer is slightly different and has its own set of properties. How many layers do you think it has? We're going to play a game to help you explore our atmosphere's layers. And here are the instructions. Sit in a circle. The teacher selects a volunteer and asks them to stand outside of the circle. Imagine that the ball is planet Earth, and each layer of wrapping represents a layer of our atmosphere. Well, this game is called Pass the Planet. You will pass the planet around the circle, and each time the volunteer says stop, the person holding it gets to unwrap a new layer. If you don't pass it to the person beside you quickly enough, you will be out of the game. So make sure you keep it moving. You as the volunteer will play a very important role in this game. You will tell us when to stop passing. Each round, you can decide how long you want to wait. It could be 5 seconds or it could be 30. When you're ready, say stop loudly and clearly, and the person holding the planet will remove a new layer of the atmosphere. Play the game by passing the wrapped ball around the circle. Each time you remove a layer, give your teacher the laminated circle that describes that atmospheric layer. Here is the explanation. Each wrapper around the Earth ball represents one layer of the atmosphere. In total, there are 5 layers, and each one has something special about it. What is the troposphere? The troposphere is the innermost layer of Earth's atmosphere, the layer we call home. Closest to the surface of Earth, we have the troposphere. Tropos means change. This layer gets its name from weather that is constantly changing and mixing up the gases in this part of our atmosphere. The troposphere is between 5 and 9 miles, or 8 and 14 kilometers thick depending on where you are on Earth. It's thinnest at the North and South Pole. This layer has the air we breathe and the clouds in the sky. The air is densest in this lowest layer. In fact, the troposphere contains 3/4 of the mass of the entire atmosphere. The air here is 78% nitrogen and 21% of oxygen. The last 1% is made up of argon, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. When you feel the wind on your face, see clouds in the sky, and watch a bird flap its wings in flight, you're experiencing the troposphere. It's a pretty nice layer to call home. What is the stratosphere? The stratosphere is a layer of Earth's atmosphere. The stratosphere is located above the troposphere and below the mesosphere. It's the layer made of layers. Above the troposphere and below the mesosphere, we have the stratosphere. Strat means layer. This layer of our atmosphere has its own set of layers. This layer is 22 miles or 35 kilometers thick. The stratosphere is where you'll find the very important ozone layer. The ozone layer helps protect us from ultraviolet radiation from the sun. In fact, the ozone layer absorbs most of the UV radiation the sun sends to us. Life as we know it wouldn't be possible without this layer of protection. What is the mesosphere? The mesosphere is a layer of Earth's atmosphere. The mesosphere is located above the stratosphere and below the thermosphere. It's the middle layer. The mesosphere lies between the thermosphere and the stratosphere. Meso means middle, and this is the highest layer of the atmosphere in which the gases are all mixed up rather than being layered by their mass. The mesosphere is 22 miles or 35 kilometers thick. The air is still thin, so you wouldn't be able to breathe up in the mesosphere. But there is more gas in this layer than there is out in the thermosphere. Have you ever seen a meteor shower where meteors burn up and streak across the sky? Some people call them shooting stars. Those meteors are burning up in the mesosphere. The meteors make it through the exosphere and thermosphere without much trouble because those layers don't have much air. But when they hit the mesosphere, there are enough gases to cause friction and create heat. What is the thermosphere? The thermosphere is a layer of Earth's atmosphere. The thermosphere is located above the mesosphere and below the exosphere. The heat that won't keep you warm. The thermosphere lies between the exosphere and the mesosphere. Thermo means heat, and the temperature in this layer can reach up to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. If you were to hang out in the thermosphere though, you would be very cold because there aren't enough gas molecules to transfer the heat to you. This also means there aren't enough molecules for sound waves to travel through. This layer of Earth's atmosphere is about 319 miles or 513 kilometers thick. That's much thicker than the inner layers of atmosphere, but not nearly as thick as the exosphere. The thermosphere is home to International Space Station as it orbits Earth. This is also where you'll find low Earth orbit satellites. There's a lot going on in the thermosphere. What is the exosphere? The exosphere is the outermost layer of Earth's atmosphere. It is the outermost layer. The exosphere is the outermost layer of our atmosphere. Exo means outside, and it's the same prefix used to describe insects like grasshoppers that have a hard shell or exoskeleton on the outside of their body. The exosphere is the very edge of our atmosphere. This layer separates the rest of the atmosphere from outer space. It's about 6,200 miles or 10,000 kilometers thick. That's almost wide as Earth itself. The exosphere is really big. That means that to get to outer space, you have to be really far from Earth. The composition and temperature of the atmosphere change with altitude. We live in the troposphere where most weather phenomena occur. As you move up within the troposphere, air temperature and pressure decrease. Most jet airplanes fly in the lower portion of the stratosphere, just above the troposphere, to avoid turbulent weather and to take advantage of powerful air currents. The ozone layer, a zone rich in UV-blocking ozone molecules, is also located in the stratosphere. Absorption of ultraviolet radiation increases ambient temperatures in the stratosphere. Meteors burn up in the mesosphere, the third layer. The mesosphere is a transitional zone with very thin air and cold temperatures. The fourth layer is the thermosphere, characterized by very high temperatures and very low concentrations of air molecules. Space shuttles orbit the Earth in the thermosphere. In the uppermost layer, the exosphere, molecules from the atmosphere escape Earth's gravitational pull and fly off into outer space.